the governor of Nairobi, Johnson Sakaja, did issue the state of the county. But to our surprise and the surprise of many Nairobians and Kenyans, there are so many flaws that has been committed in Nairobi County. To this extent, we have come up and analyzed the Auditor General's report that was released yesterday, 107-page report that is talking about the situation in Nairobi County. We have analyzed page by page from page 1 to the last page, which is page 107, and we have come up with the following facts, the conclusion to which there is serious misappropriation of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious embezzlement of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious pilferage of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious defrauding of the hard-earned money for the Nairobians, and there is serious misrepresentation of facts. To be short, the factoids presented by the current governor of Nairobi County. And therefore, if we want, number one, we want to talk about the type of audit opinions. And number one is the unqualified opinion. If the auditor talks about unqualified opinion, means that things are okay and there is no any problem with the books of the account. If the Auditor General talks about qualified opinion, means that there are audit queries, but adequate information provided in the audited statements. And if they recommend a disclaimer, then it means that information provided for audit is inadequate. And lastly, if there is an adverse opinion, then it means that the situation is terrible because of material and pervasive breaches. In our situation, there is an adverse opinion from the Office of the Auditor General. And therefore, my analysis consists of 3 parts. Part A is the adverse opinion, and it reads, the Auditor General says that they cannot confirm the accuracy and completeness of the financial statements provided by Sakaja for the financial year 2022-2023. The difference in payment reported by the financial statements and the ledger, which ordinarily should be the same, is 5 billion Kenya shillings, which is lost, and that is found on page 2 of the Auditor General's report. Therefore, the governor of Nairobi cannot explain the 9 billion in pending bills. Also in page 2, the controller of budget did approve 17 billion. Out of the 17 billion, the governor only paid 8 billion as pending bills, but 9 billion is lost. In addition to that, the pending bills balance, as indicated, is 98 billion, which the Auditor General says that could be hot air. Assets acquired by the county government are overstated by 320 million Kenya shillings, which is lost as per page 3 of the Auditor General's report. Next is the bank balances show that KRB, the RMLF indicates that 818 million Kenya shillings, that is what it indicates, while it should be 965 million Kenya shillings, which means that 147 million Kenya shillings is lost. Lost by lost means stolen, or defrauded. Next is the recurrent account reports nil. The current account reports nil balance while it should have 365 million Kenya shillings, which means that 365 million shillings is also lost. Next is the revenue account shows closing balance at nil, while it should have been 1.9 billion Kenya shillings. Its opening balance also shows nil, while it was 1.3 billion Kenya shillings. Therefore, the total amount of money lost there is 3.2 billion Kenya shillings. That is found on page 3 of the Auditor General Report. Part D of it says that balances of 561 million in 43 bank accounts not supported at all. Auditors cannot confirm the accuracy of cash balances of 1.44 billion Kenya shillings. Number 7, for assets acquired through NMS amounting to 620 million Kenya shillings, which is unsupported, payments were made of 3.5 billion shillings and a further 3.7 billion Kenya shillings found on page 4. Air was paid. By air, it can mean oxygen, carbon dioxide, or any other air. Air was paid, or hot air was paid for at 60.8 million Kenya shillings, apparently for floodlights, but no supply was done and no entry was made for the same, found on page 4 of the report. Sakaja says he paid salaries of 11.2 billion Kenya shillings, but records of banks and IPPD shows only 8.8 billion Kenya shillings. Hence, 2.2 billion Kenya shillings was paid to ghost workers. By ghost workers, now it means that that money has been stolen. Purported payments of 161 million Kenya shillings and 93 million Kenya shillings to temporary workers were not supported by any documents at all. That is on page 5 of the report. Number 10, 226 million Kenya shillings from the salary account was paid through 46 fictitious transactions, not supported at all and not related to salaries, which means 226 million again stolen. That is on page 5 of the report. That is part A on adverse opinion. Part B says other emphasis. Other areas where money has been lost. Number 1, despite reporting to have spent 29.2 billion against a budget of 39.6 billion, the county committed additional 17.8 billion, meaning it spent a total of 47.1 billion, which is 7.5 billion shillings above the budget. Now you can see where the fraud is, because they've budgeted for money, but they've spent above what they budgeted for. So which means they were spending on what they didn't budget for. That is on page 6 of the report. Despite the county having a whooping, that is number 2, despite the county having a whooping 832 cases, this is where now there is serious fraud. The county had 832 cases. A mere 11 advocates were owed 10.7 billion Kenya shillings. 11 advocates owed 10.7 billion Kenya shillings in fees, and a further 121 advocates owed another 10.2 billion Kenya shillings. Hence, legal fees for 132 lawyers stood at 20.9 billion Kenya shillings. So you want to tell me that Sakaja has already paid 11 advocates 10.7 billion Kenya shillings. It means that every advocate was pocketing 1 billion, close to around or approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings. What is the governor doing? That is found on page 6. The county has not resolved audit issues raised by the previous audit report. Number 4, the county did not report the various funds being run by the county, e.g. disaster fund. And there you had what happened even in Embakasi East constituency when there was serious disaster resulting from the gas explosion. A budget of 285 million disappeared. Not even a shilling was used to help any of the victims from the county government. Not even a mattress, not even Piriton was bought to give my people to sleep so that they could not feel the pain. Despite withdrawing, that is number 5, despite withdrawing 30.5 billion from the county revenue fund, no reports were filed with the Office of the Auditor General. Remember, 30.5 billion was withdrawn, but no report filed. That is on page